efi ma me akosia se wa pie wanye ni yanka ma no nko mu se fe onko pe bia di eye papa jagwaja ne start ye me ne mata ye retract me ne apietu ye retract ya tesema ye te no api su ne ye ka bie ye hunu esa oba bi ku na na to oba bi ye ni sei ye retract ye no masem ye hunu na ye ni hobi ye mene asem a ye ka ye esa de ato ye yem na ye ni ho me mani ehu so obi ku obi wo mia ne konti de bia me kaza me se 99.99 allegedly 1% na me nyina ho na me ni wo so ampa ti be retract sa asem ne me ne mata ene apietu ene nana jebi se ye ka asem ne bia ye ni ho me ni ho obi ku obi na me ni ho na apietu ni ho na ata ni ho eya hisro ya ata na me kai na apietu ni ho ready ne de ba ena se na ye na ready ne de ba ena se na ye
I will say we'll be a crabashon so Eddie Bagana Info TV. So I had him say a #1 channel American for Eddie Amasa open some ma'am a trendy all social media no a son the crew Ghana Info and American for Eddie. I'm a bution and when the channels are not subscribed Eddie my nothing so what click a notification bell on Sebastian update be and one or the Kenya ones ever can be and the video be a trendy by young queen and burning bab Eddie I didn't try the to comment section.
Appear to bebem now we're here dinner said the idea sequel. No rest and the voice is so one was there be. Men say me voice kwa. Name no. Me de me voice no. About tunum ama mamia kusia se wa. Because dia kusia se wa your door. Et we hwe no na was say se wa legal wife. Se wa legal wife. Oba mamia kusia se oba kukodro o chantu mesne di sina se. Eboa bema, ema bema kanko. Ebembuo. Yes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. Say a woman ni binu o mamia kusia se wa. And the one year bema ye. Ebo bema, emo baby hu say bema na ya akono. Baby hu say bema na ya akono. Na bema na say die di na ye ye. Ye fa na ye ni ye. And oba na rush sa bema we. Na sa oba kroye timi be fa mamia kusia se wa. Nikunu ekodi ni chodo kodi ni si na se dia kosia se wa yo do ntino ma menen sa wo de ye ni kun ye no wansa mpa sa ansa pro na ansa no wo gire mu because the bible mu a wo so oba apahwene e pa hwan ne benya na ne board den ese ahwene what the say ni fie yie on fa ne say ni fie anu bi na maami akosia se wa ye no apia tu se da bi oba be die medimenu masem ebebo nwom de ama no eti enne ye maame no ba bi owo bia na ni beti yie anya kasa nko a ne kasa ma no anya kasa nko a ani dede ene ye tie maami itimi ba history book mu ami atro ne niam obeye wasasi so ade boy legend mam that Lumba dia na maami akosia se wa ese wo sebo what say you can say twin no na what say abasubo what's obia eni kwase ejeje mu ye shon mu se kosua because ba say won na oba say na ma bema waye ni ye ma manyi na ani abre oba bia ti da Lumba no kopene di ni bi atanti kwa bia nya papa ne kwa ne kope ma no na ma na ne rashe ni nyina afi ma me akosua se wa pie wanye ni yanka ma no nko mu hu se fe on kope bia di wanye ni ya anko mu hu so mu kope bia di na me fa sa akonya we so apietu meba me fa sa akonya we so akatem bi na wana na ya so drive yi wana ye dede me fa sa akonya we so aka che ye wa say apu isu nsama sisi emi esi we ka say ena we si we ne kun we ena we si we ne kun we ena we si we ne we me patrol let's say ye moderators no mo fa nko from let's mun na wa say si we na ku we e na we na kan se abusuafo asem ne ba ye nyina begina ha se kan bi megina sa akonya nso ne elanche ye brother Pietu ne nwumwe ya ka tse ye wa ha sei aye wo app so say meka bi ekwo social media ekwo ba bibia me tama na ye papa te sa asem ne nyina eye papa jagwaja ne start ye mene mata ye retract mene Pietu ye retract eya tesema ye te no app so ne ye ka bie ye hunu esa oba bi ku na na to oba bi ye ni sei ye retract ye no masem ye hunu na ye ni hobi ye mene asem a ye ka ye esa dia to ye yem na ye ni ho me mani ehu so obi ku obi wo mia ne konti da bia me kaza me se 99.99 allegedly 1% na me nyina ho na me ni ho so ampa ti me retract sa asem ne me ne mata ene Pietu ene nana jebi se ye ka asem ne bia ye ni ho me ni ho obi ku obi na me ni ho na Pietu ni ho na ta ni ho eya destroyer na make na Pietu ni ho na ta ni ho eya destroyer na make na Pietu ni ho na ta ni ho fancy na obi ani ho me na me ni ho ana ye ku obi eya jagwaja ena start car ye ne afia Schwarzenegger mo na start car ye ai se obi na ye papa ni bibi na papa ni wo no eye nipa ne ku no ena me ye be ka bie enti no ebi mo de asem we bai bread ne de ba ena se na ye na bread ne de ba ena se na ye ena fi ye se papa ne twe na se mo tie ni ye ya twe papa na se ama papa no na wa fenti da form ena ye twe na se ena afia Schwarzenegger so ka ne de na papa no wu ye eto ofie ena se ni se ena jagwaja so se wo bi na ku no na ababa wo bi na fre no ni nyina e app so efo na kan ne ka bie ena ye retract ye no masam na ye ni ho me na me ni ho ti be se 99.99 allegedly enye se obi shuro se e baba Ghana ne mom na me ni ho so ampa eti me kama asem bia na me ka 99.99 1% mani ehu no me say je me no masem am ka se mani ehu na ka che mo na say ampa so mani ehu no ti me ne mabusuafo wa ha sei to be ata hiswaya Pietu na najebi ye jina ha enipa 1.4 sa asem bi e kan ye bia no efa se papa we ne ku no we kuku no ba bi efri se mo pe ba bi efri a eye ye papa ajagoraja ne be kan ye ema flamingo mate that day asem you are miss ampo ade tina me ba asem ani aha enso obi anso mi mu me ana me de me ho bo me wo free time pa ba se me ba be so life no na mani aha awon asem na che se wo se mi tinchi amanfo de so na me pem kan say nsokuro na me pem sokuro na me die me chia mo wate me chia mo bibire me de nchie mo odsen enchia bolobo e de fe ma me na busua ho holiday is good for you I ask my kese kura bi say e de fe ma me mo de ma abusua fo me wo mamenika ane ya belanchi enua be ma Pietu ne nwom no nsekuro ai ya belanchi enua be ma Pietu nwom ba ye beka sakakra mamemfa announcement we nto edwa se mo beka ya ye nua ba kwinema okwo Ghana so okwo boye mame I don't know if say that's the reason they call Ghana. But I don't imagine me because so far as one month now one flight mo call ye e de Okwa Ghana se okobua ama celebration of life abam. Yenua ba no koi. Ebusua for 1.3 extra. Ya do so say. Mabusua for we. Okwa so okwa boy mame. Ane na busua for akwa celebration of life. Ba for fi antwata. Ami atete se nema bebre asisi. Na trika. Make us say what to be platform so. Me say ka biem. I think that was yesterday. Me who say e bi mo so mo ye team I don't know if say team league and I say team mama akusia se wa na say team Lion Nation na e bi mo group na yeso obi be so live na hi yan kuma mama ne biem ne nyina na me ho so program nkrofo ni mu bi ebo live na nkrofo because e bi mo ebia memebo life no obi so on the camera because woni dwuma bi di woni content o de be kasa because ya fear e no mo do mo touch them so Ashanti fear na mo do mo touch them die me catch them I say me maka several times
omo kata so bu omo ni gu so sene that part no doesn't exist. Why? Because a clear say first paragraph no state say in response to two letters are dated 1st September and then the 10th September. And Crawford person much and say omo kan letter we omo ni we na tutu on and who say na ya twerɛ ho no say 1st September and 10th September bi wo ho no ma a response. Amanfo be gidi say sa letter we na e ko provoke mama akoso say wa mana court. Meanwhile no muma di kan twerɛ 1st and then the 10th. Amanfo ye omo adwe so omo person be hu na e wo sa letters no mu. Why? Because omo ankasa ne page as letter we lawyer Fati atwera komo omo no omo receive here on the 3rd of October. Time in our so and let's show you no time was 2:17 p.m. Omo na de beto abontin o say omo ba be say propaganda no. So the second propaganda no on the second page no and also we second page na first paragraph on the second page no so no say your client's name if it appears in the final brochure at all will be a favor from the family because of the children she has with them. So same way intino almost say yes ye mama ameno emma ye nasibi ye mani din emma brochure mu we krampo ne akire ne say ye be ma odi aba mu bi ye be ma odi aba brochure no mu bi esan say wo ne papa no ewo mma nti because emma no ewo ho no they exist tenkentisa nkanya dia den wudi baba brochure no mu. That is what it means. But omo your madwen say omo interpretation different. Wo de yemfa omo de numpo to be say ne set sa de ade na omo twere sa letter we come maame no. Right. The answer to this no the 10th of September letter no Alex baba bekin kan.
Any kike maame fan so mo so na timi kire mu ye. When the letter maame akosia se wa twere ba ye. Sarah Bacho, do me a beg. A team legal for a ye. Mammy Akusa, our lawyer for letter mutre ye. Nipo train the dean de Kwaku a day law office. Barristers and solicitors. Date near 10th September. Inti 10th September letter no. Any. Omutre se ensia busu panyine so. Opinion Victor Kofiusu Preslofori Funeral Planning Committee enkosi omo lawyer so no kan kire omo so omo ntebrofa omo ntie enoniye osi dear council notice of ordinance marriage between Mrs. Akusia Sewa Fosu and Charles Kojo Fosu aka Dad Lumba si we yemra aware ayeware no court da mama Akusia Sewa Dad Lumba and Makojo. Also, we act on the information of Mrs. Akusia Sewa Fosu, wife of the late Charles Kojofosu, hereinafter referred to as our client, of Accra, Ghana, and Germany. As a sequel to our letter dated 1st September 2025, which was addressed to you for the attention of your clients, bro.
Mawati for the chance say nientia me circle me the red na circle no say and am say omo pepper omo ne adwonbon nti no omo ye mistakes bebre
bro.
Nti eni kwan say de no eni kwan say ba
me wanwa na kinketi e o say maami akosia say wona ahye ye say ye ntwura de we family dad Lumba na ye gina mu say mu amunnim maami akosia say wan ye gina na mu wo Ghana and Germany. Or say, as a sequel to our letter dated 1st September, which was addressed to you for the attention of your clients, legal English na pure on the instruction of Mrs. Akusia Sewa, Omune Brofo Agudate, Fosu, wife of the late Charles Kojofosu. Our client further instructs us to inform you to bring the content of this instant letter to the above name addresses, as we have been informed that you act as counsel for them. Omsi we dia ye letter ye di gina so because ba kwa di ka badada ba September 1st. They addressed the mamu. Se munhwe mu ye pa se gina mama makme akusa se wona na amaye akwanya ne kwan se yemfa so ntwere mfa mre dad Lumba ona ne dad Lumba yere. Na ye koso ye kire mo se ya ba betin ye hunu se ye decided to Ibrahim because money a lawyer fo a mujira mo dad Lumba ntine ye de Ibrahim no. Also, in the letter dated 1st September 2025, our client informed you that she is the wedded wife of the late Charles Kojofosu, which said marriage was being registered under the laws of Germany. Almost the date letter no 1st September 2025. Mami akosa so be catch ye say oni dad Lumba e wedding popin pa na o mawari na koso wo Germany a German mra o masensan krata bia wo ho. In other words, as at the time of his death, Charles Kojofosu, our client was married under ordinance with him. By this marriage, both parties, our client and the late Charles Kojofosu, are barred by the law from celebrating any additional marriage unless the marriage subsisting between them is dissolved. What's your more catch them obiem? Say, Mammy, I could just only that Lumba ware and no mummy in Atiasia. Says our Rene Domun Temuno, and no a sea our Fufrubia quine, half of front to me account. Until say, Omino, Achum. Also, our client informs us that during the lifetime of Charles Kojofosu, none of them initiated any divorce proceedings in any court for the dissolution of their marriage. Hence, the parties remained married until death separated them on the 26th July 2025. Was it Mamia or no? Or say and Churokrata no catch ye say Daddy Lumba and then no time no tiase. Omu bia anya wadwumpo se omu ja aware mpo. Na mo ankoko to mpo da so mu kogu aware no. Na ma aware ndie so itwan saa kopem se papa ewu ye 2025 July 26. Yorade Ghana. Our client informs us that during the 30th August 2025, pre-funeral celebrations of the late Charles Kojofosu held at the Black Star Square in Accra, one Priscilla Ofori, aka Odo Bronii, appeared at the event, ostensibly claiming to be known to be a widow of the late Charles Kojofosu, Whilst our client cannot stop and UTV
and will not stop.
And will not stop anybody from attending such a public event. Like the funeral of her late husband, our client will, however, not entertain any attempt to have the name of the said Priscilla Ofori or any other person's name, including any funeral announcement, brochure, obituary, etc. as a supposed wife of the late Charles Kojofusu. In other words, save our client who was lawfully married to Charles Kojofusu, aka Lumba, under ordinance marriage. No one else name should be included in the funeral program as wife of the late Charles Kojofusu.
Let's repeat the paragraph with him because Rahel the answer now okay some time ago no.
That's
a war copy, That's a war copy.
I think I do. Yeah. Hold on. I haven't here pa me am crash me.
Hey, Muntie. Mami akosi ase wa anuma asem ni.
But me anam pese me kan.
Dabi o de mami nkyere mu twi ansa. O wi ana
kan na wa kire mu twi.
Dabi o ya sa ba fumani so. O brofo no so. Ene kan.
See, our client informs us that during the 30th August 2025 pre-funeral celebration of Charles Kojofusu held at the Black Star Square, one Priscilla Ofori, aka Odo Bronii, appeared at the event ostensibly claiming to be a widow of the late Charles Kojofusu. Pachochim.
Mami akosi wa na lawyer for say August 30th 2025 1 week celebration bi koso e father Lumba ho amu ye no Blaster Square wa Accra na hwe mami bi on friend president Ofori the dimpa anko for the friend Odo Bronii ofrihi ba program nase obaya wo so ono so yere ono ye kunani pa baako e father Lumba.
Okay. Whilst our clients cannot stop and will not stop anybody from attending such a public event, like the funeral of her late husband, our client will, however, not entertain any attempt to have the name of the said Priscilla Ofori or any other person's name included included in any funeral announcement, brochure, obituary, etc. Mr. Alex Mr. Alex Chemo yana me to
my sentence nisi na Alex Chemo
sentence
nisi mama fancy mama sign kind. Whilst our client cannot stop and will not stop anybody from attending such a public event like the funeral of her late husband, our clients will, however, not entertain any attempt to have the name of the said Priscilla Ofori or any other person's name included in any funeral announcement, brochure, obituary, etc., as a supposed wife of the late Charles Kojofusu. In other words, Yes, please explain the first one.
And or twaswa. Also, nipa ye kasa mani no. No want to mean you be a quaint. A many panema sa program na ye no because na ye badwam na ye no. Enu ti te say ye no oba be ye no. Ono on twema obia ntimi mma ho a odi din bi te se President Ofuri ana oba din bi foforo bia emma ye mane ma ayi krata ayi nwoma ana obi na choro ye bia na se ayi nyo dabi ya ensida apu
obituary na amde tetarete down hono krampo no nipa se di ba so
dia ponche we no bi no sa nyo man nyina nipa ne din kura maso ne de teta down dia ya yi krata nketenkete omde tra yi ase ene ya announcement papa iwu ye no ho wa ekoko na ni nyina de din kura maso sa anso so na on twema ono a wo be kase bia ono na ye bia na yiri bi ono so no ware that Lumba
in other words, save our client who was lawfully married to Charles Kwejofosu, aka that Lumba, under ordinance marriage. No one else name should be included in the funeral program as wife of the late Charles Kwejofosu.
Me kind of as a man tia near me Sunday to and some from Bim Kra. Mama, Mamma Kusa no honey, Nasumono no. Now, I am so one that Lumba worry on Meramono. On Peneda, M. foul bafu beer d. Emma a year crat as a year tear for a year dabi sewa yere. Dabi dakura insi, said that Lumba ye, no them sikurada. Twaso.
Wow. In addition, our client instructs us to inform you that she should be promptly notified by the funeral planning committee of all funeral arrangements being made towards the final interment of her late husband, so that no surprises are sprung on her at short notice.
Medical correct no. Mammy Akusia say wana catchere you. Say yan canchere mo. Say we no dear. Well catchere food na committee ne bring ya. Say father Lumba ye ho hye ye. Ma obia mfan sembinu ma mekeka that Lumba ni kuna waja no ono kuna ni wo so no. So that say be duru se bira ye no na nyoma foforo bia mefana ni so na meye nwanwa bia wona ni so emrek tie ya aka ye ba be ye no wonde wo dwene no
ade bia umbe bia e so mbo na mane
one chiremu ye no na
ade bia umbe bia no ko so mbo bia sie no
bia no omumbo no na mane se na be ya bibia nkonko funi mu da no pese oche
near to as well right.
Okay, our clients expect strict compliance. Hey, we are crashing. Our clients expect strict compliance. Hold on.
Obeka ho 2 times.
Yes.
Because some kesi pa sa paragraph ya okay 2 sentences but obeka 2 times.
Our client expects strict compliance as we have additional instructions to seek further legal redress if her demands contained in this letter is disregarded. Our client expects strict compliance as we have additional instructions to seek further legal redress if her demands contained in this letter are disregarded.
Osi mamia kusia sewa. Catchere wo mo pass de wa catchere wo mu no. Wo mo hwe so mbedi so pepepepepepepepe.
Wow.
Na o man ni so a. Wo sadin hyehyeye bi so kura about be famra kwan so ankasa. Ab make sure say de wo pe no e wo sangoma yi mu no. Obi adi so. Enye sa so mo twe ba kokura famu a de ebesi no kura de.
Apart from silent way now, the amount wasanso the another instructions asan many lawyers you we must say. So woman ni super person here all canoa or mun take action is saying or maybe take legal redress a court.
This is our we na
okay, and it says that kindly bring the content of this letter to your client's attention. Yes. I don't know, almost repeating it twice.
Na brofo no book na so nti omo de bi so say be ma book na so. Wose sa asema ya twere wo letter yi mu no. Nkan kire maami omo a ya list omo di ni nyina so omo ade ewo mu no omo hwe ni yie pa ono ka ne mprenu. So wonim ni po twere ya e din pa nie Kwadwo Safo Esquire
Adia.
Kwadwo Adia law firm so no wo. Lawyer for one na lawyer mranim ni pa mama me akusa sewa sisi kire se otwere ye no wasa de salete ya nso so am mama me akusa sewa bi se wonye nto se kina semba wa be kire wo mo papa Israel atiefo ene mpaifu nso
so at this point there kinke me am crash letter you.
Yes, we am be show. Now, there's
a narrative out there say it was a penny letter the mom call court it's a.
You see, and it's less Rahel.
I mean, kind have you? Hanema de ni yehu Pastor Rahel. Or say, like the funeral of her late husband, our client will, however, not entertain any attempt to have the name of the said Presla Ofori on any other person's name, including any funeral announcement, brochure, obituary, etc., as a supposed wife of the late Charles Kwadwo. In other words, save our client, who was lawfully married to Charles Kwadwo under ordinance marriage. No one else's name should be included in the funeral program as a wife of the late Charles Kwadwo. Dear trust one in here. Our client expresses strict compliance as we have additional instructions to seek further legal redress if he had demands contained in this letter are disregarded. That's all.
So Rahel, and now no what who nientia Mamia kusa se wa one ne lawyers no omo hide this halite we. But rather no omo kofa lawyer fatin the response no mum. Or respond to no on the first omo saka on the third edeba bontin. Na woko first page na e soro hodom no san nsem we ye waka wo mu a u kan ni a ubehu se eye abotesem or the Koma Abusia Penny Victor Kofi Wusu, number 1. Or Sansu de Koma Presla Ofori, number 2. And a funeral planning committee, number 3. Sa 3 bodies we. And a watcher sa little way at the Koma. At that time, Nimpo, now Fena not more form the funeral planning committee, no, right? It is a what kind sa little way. And no natural say. Nipa na ultra letter no adwempo a ewo ni tirim. Nobody can convince me say nipa na ultra sa letter we o adwempo papa ewo ni tirim. No wa boni tirim po. Say ultra sa letter we e dia koma nipa miensa we. And it right say attend die bi o sa letter we mu a e koma abusuapanyi number 1.
Abusuapanyi yeah.
Odo Bronii number 2 and then the funeral planning committee. Funeral planning committee no so right penning for former ministers and then ministers and MPs ahemfo akese a omo woso ena saatem didi ekro no say wo mu a ekoma omo eni ti o commande abusuapanyi e kansem akese wo lete wo mu say bibi bia omo beye bia no e wo say omo yifo mu no omo ma ono na so te meaning say ono no or the overall boss of that Lumba. If you know that is the meaning. That is where it started from. That is where it started from. I don't know hide this a little way. And I'm say propaganda na no person mo ye no. So little way ever talk about tia obi abe hu se maame no o adwumbone. And it's sada yen hide the way. Na yen fa ba ko na clause kakra bi wo mu a omo no twere wo mu se ene se be mo wasi aye na sekura mpo no a ana se ye be mo udiamba brochure no mu a omumpo man ka se be mo se ye na se o om se udimba brochure no mu mpo a which is on the second page was so hard, what's it say? I think it's a brochure there. What?
Yes, it was on the grounds of the fact that no more say they have a letter saying so Ordinance but and nothing no more kasa.
Exactly.
They had a basis for writing that. But Mamma could say one letter now. Or no dear or state say right from the get go no. On person the Odo Bronii dimbe
Bibiaso on play money announcements. Brochure, obituary.
Brochure, obituary, BBM.
That's
not including who.
Yeah, she's not going to tolerate. She's an opposite of children, so on tolerate. Back when I can come, be Cynthia, and it's a man on tolerate. All money, Dima announcement, no brochure, obituary. As a Tara, I can't cry to say, Bibia, say, I was say, or baby Dimba. Paper bia so no eni kwan say Odo Bronii e dimba so look at this and so obo be painti picture bi to abonten yes
amadi kayaka
se ne be ya
Odo Bronii hu bibia emma eyi so
yes se ne be ya busuapan yi be nipa boni ni na omanya kwan a hold abusuapan yi what responsible ni na na ye kan say e cartel omo plan e they plan all of these things. You see, and the two people are planning normal way. I can say we na ya akusua se wani akusua brimpoma. And inti.
Also, when was the letter sent? The letter was dated the
10th September, no. 10th
September 2025. And at that time, no was happening.
There was nothing like that.
Wait a second
letter.
And she actually even made reference
the first
to
letter,
no, Troy,
they made reference to it. First page, what kind of first page now? The third paragraph, what I'm referred to, in some of kind of first letter, almost what Nina this paragraph. The third paragraph,
Yes.
And it is a kind of letter where you get a fair idea of what of the first of the September letter, no. And the 1st September, then follow up of this one, which is the 10th. Then and what you answer in October 1st. And lawyer Fatimo, yes and no, I was some more plan because in summer what was a letter we know. Actually, they say, or in the Niabre. Because we see some we muna. Command or commanded.
The latter part no cry is what shocks me the most. Our clients expect strict compliance.
Strict.
Said they all back no. Serious.
Or cause we actually busuapan so or not expect what strict compliance. Busuapan ni nsem no. Nsem only so pepe onyi ba kokra mfiri mu. Oyere timi ka asem we kire obi abusuapan oyere o. Or friend who says, or right, or the legal authority, or right, moral, and that's a traditional right. So, Otimika Sassum we actually, and you one cast an abusive paying pool. Abusive paying or no fees a new kunabusive paying, or it was our right, no. Now, your Cassan we are Muslim Mayanka.
And Kinke, or see, as we have additional instructions to seek further legal redress if demands contained in this letter are disregarded. I was wanting no, and you was a penny letter and I didn't mind.
And they were planning that. So they make that say or planning from Germany before even coming.
Yes, that's why that she got the marriage certificate and everything. No,
together until all by in a nation the bottom. And into the Americans asked me for some time ago. Say all by in a nation home. It is our cousin we actually say all translated. We not answer the marriage certificate. Didn't be some money that. So on final standby. Yes, I feel no the bemano or the amana that was additional instruction has been given or the amano. Says a busuapan need some of the money now so pepe when you back crime through and you won't take another action. That is the meaning. The catcher will say, or more planning the also muyina or my disua abepim enne you will attended dear echo chico brema echo hin that's what up we so and nay. Afi ya chichi ebi mu a. Yes. Ya chichi ebi mu a sese no omo no epese ko mbenya nka sa nipa nkranko no odwene from mani mu no. Meanwhile so omo se sa nipa no owo adanse a mo support se wonni mu se ade na awaye no eya ade papa a mo support a mo nim se owo adanse a adenti na mo prem ho se mo bepese nka nipa no obenya nka be from mani mu. Meaning se mo ankasa mo nim se ade na awaye no mo ni nyina so entro nko na mo twa from the beginning up till now. And so omo guso ka amankrofobia giedi. Maame fom penimfobia giedi. All because of say omo ti abrochiri na omo de omo toto maame no a omo de omo nan akoshe maame ne mpabuo mu. And omo feel say maame no wabre. Oba in the 70s, oba in the 80s, in the 90s, and ayabebre and na nye easy. That is not the situation for you to support somebody. Kase because of that in the open asem. But men kase o ko support na bra wonim say waya ade enye eya de hunu. That has been our point right from the beginning. Says open asem fine because mama no kra ne man kra pen asem. But the man supporting right you're meted.
But you can't look at it though. The one more throw a high cranny and also hear me worry pa or say our client informs us that during the 30th August 2025 a pre-funeral celebration of the late Charles Ghpagetv held at the Black Star Square in Accra. One Priscilla Ofori, aka Odo Bronii, appeared at the event, ostensibly claiming to be a widow of the late Charles Ghpagetv.
Yes.
How can you write this when you are written in the 2018 letter? So when you said that Lumba here,
yes,
he has gone to marry this lady. And even when that Lumba died, no crampon, when they went to the house, before the 1 week, you went to meet this lady and all that. And you know, I don't know, because say out of nowhere, na lady no appear yet.
Yes, out of nowhere. Yeah.
Appeared at the 1 week.
Yes.
Claiming to be a wife.
Omo 1 week na sia ne ombehu ane se oba bia yiniti. Otwiniti apia wa se ye frame Odo Bronii na o claim to be a wife. Look at this. Watwiniti obi anim no sa no pese ochire obi anim no ne omu ya ne se watwiniti wo 1 week na se. Af ye ka kire mu se maame na mudi na chi no wa planning ne normal wo so wo ye nyina every Germany no odi abakro mu ase eye Ghana honom no. Eno ti ade na oye nyina na ayese strict script bi na ya twera ma no and all follow. So this is what we go and do in script and
It surprises me when she said that, because this is media also have said famous house help. If the house help to this man that knew about it, then all of it. Even in 10 years. Now, woman 6, and they say the 1 week celebration, she just appears and says, "Hey, oh yeah, Yeri, I want 1 week celebration." I said, like this thing.
I'm going back because when we go back and then we throw out to see but maybe something like you did say answer no obi analytical be in the first place after the death of 26 so necessary all planning and in the first place And think crophobia or motiti hormona or mocase. Mamma, near was a command be a japadia, or casa, meaning say you are not analytical. Only reasonable.
Okay, you ask yourself, say, how many years has this lady stayed with this man in the East Legon house? It's Mami Akosia, what did she ever go to live with that Lumba in the East Legon house? No. And Yoka se ni kunwu ya pena ubia yiniti se oye yere. Like, I don't understand that part of it. That part as you.
Unity Rahel Besha. You started yeah, go back no. Unless I can kind a lot of press releases are or more dear Barbontin to or no in particular ne Mamia Kosa Brempoman. So Mammy, you know, or more release it last year let us Makuma over 6. And this year so it was so this year so almost so a gusua then or Mudi Biba. Tina let's kind yes ba like English. Tembiano no more better bontin. The be on the baby answer no or the bloggers so. There was a baby omudi free. Almost share that a plan a yes, and ye ba, say neighbor, TikTok no so no your uncrophobia or mano ye din, I from bloggers. Uncrophobia or mono or more casa, people know them. And this uncrophone no young for almost so.
Where do bushes Nyamisha middle. Nyamisha.
This uncrophone na ye to mo, a tutua or moka. Ye won't crofo or more financiers or more ties adwempo we achi. As I say, and they now we know some of them. We can mention their names. And no, and now year press releases bebre, kikan sense bebre, even sign the pano crampono or ma bonidi and they say even papa no be woo no crampono, papa no fat telephone, a fresh sign the pana, air campono, man be gina gate nechi for 2 hours. You know, all corner and a son friend catch it and say, Papa no. So the question is, why the son friend will catch it will say Papa no? Abraham gate nechi.
Yes, and why a friend?
Why?
Yes.
Na say nipa na wonu kunu no. Onu kunu no na san friend will say, sign bra. And nipa na ye kunu na ye mi anoko, na onu aso san nya kwan. And na wo ma onu kunu no so ma na kwan say, on fa telephone na won frɛ. Omu ngina entwen no.
Say nipa na wu.
Omunjina ne nchen ompeso mkuno ompeso mumia no kun na omajai omse fa telephone na ofa telephone na wo so oye call na ye je atwen na amana ye ne call na wi ansa na ye mia no kun akunu sasem we wugidi a wa dwen da wutrim pa ne de won
no na kinke enya no kwan wo si nipa no efri ho a onam kwan so call ne friend said that Lumba wu nti who called why na friend o mo kacho nipa ne said that Lumba efri
we na crophobia dia be pem enne ya ye kasei and it is a deal as we are right and we nipa bi mo fa so dwen unless no way say ye din koma na ye hu nsema ye nka ye kasa na hima
yami sure de ma yembre mu kakra first of all no a person may understand the sequence of what you just read. First one no Mami Akosia sewa ne legal team for omutro that Lumba lawyer for na omu copy Odo Bronii ene ebusua penny enyesa.
No, what they wrote is that they wrote lawyers.
And
they wrote this already
exactly okay.
It's the latter part now. See, kindly bring the content of this letter to the client's attention. The client here,
this is it's from the second one. From the second one.
Yeah, from the second letter.
And okay, yes. So from the first one, grievances were addressed to Ebusiapini or the family after DL's death, claiming say she is the only wife under ordinance through the lawyers. Yes, she's the only wife under ordinance. Is she's not going to. She wants to have the sole authority over the funeral preparations and funeral rites. If I get it right, in summary, that was the first one. And then the lawyer phone went ahead to let them know, say, Nipana Woka say you want to be the sole right over the mortal remains, Yeah, what?
And it all refer to the properties in the first one, 1st of September. Say, I didn't wako properties in the so, now you stop no. What I said, Nanahima.
Yes.
Almost stop on a illegal wife.
Maybe there's something I just want to put together well. And so they responded to her Akoshiasewa legal team for no more chair more say more clients now more canon. Yes, your clients are my say as at 2018 or the crata buy say omunjaya wari no mun charge apade. Ena your clients no ya respond, your clients are responding to letter and say obetimi akwa ahead na wakuja wari no nti sisi ana mo ba say mo clients no na ye the only wife under ordinance no. It is not so according to the information we have from our clients who is no more.
Yes,
what we know they say oni abayo bi wo ho oni na over 15 years as a years oni na wo mansia ne na ho kire bremu no abayo away na why den watena ne nchen ya. So they also responded say mo clients na mo ka say about her no o deserti ni kunu no when she had to come back to Ghana with her to seek medical care. Into on one bano sister on what's na ni kunu ne ho a wahwe no ene na mansia. And I'm clients in the bus jawari. And I clients say onko obetimi akwa ahead. Or the three sons are ekoye. Emma nebusian for eje. So traditionally no aware no egu. So that was the response they gave. Into after DL lawyer for Emma, Mami Akusha said one lawyer for response Then they came back with the second one.
No.
And then yes, I can key.
No. Tie, Nanaima, let me narrate it. Nanaima, but you just mute yourself. When you say my feedback. So what it is that Mami Akusha said through the legal team ya omo actual letter the kind actual letter at the bre lawyers no when omoka say ma obi ankwa asase so she actually wrote a letter to them because of say ya man kwan amana say that Lumba asase and as any property. That was the first letter or true Edinburgh mami Edinburgh lawyers no. And or did this current letter can follow up at the buyer and no this particular letter no or make reference to the first letter no the buyer say lawyers now man coin amana an assess way no or this time around the day ban say only that Lumba worry mrem enunti no during you can say the 1 week of that Lumba no a supposed lady and I say lady be unity 1 week na say or that Lumba yere na sa lady no or no pese ye didn't beba brochure ye didn't beba ye be bia so enya candle night no or 1 week celebration no on pese ye didn't beba brochure whatever it is so souvenirs bibia on pese ye didn't beba so now or science state wo mu biom say on pese lady no ye didn't on pese lady ni bibia beba mu aseyere. And then okache you can say lawyers ni say or sign can biom say in addition to that inform on country you can say committee no planning committee ni say omo notify or no the funeral planning committee no or catch say omo notify or no about the funeral arrangements be a omo yen because she doesn't want any surprises at a year. And now catch almost say omo clients no or no pay a strict compliance. They say and some no atro crater almost say on pese ye de preslo fori. And I said, Odo Bronii, you didn't even announcement, mu brochure, obituary, or anabi BFA, ye no as a yiri biano, ye ni dim free mono, and as a man fanning kahono. Omo making sure, say, Oma yesana kuma swade we amano, and yes, dear, she will seek further legal redress if the demands no are not met. Yanfa mana, obeteki a legal redress, meaning obeko court. And what trauma, ye can saying. Lawyers ni say they should fa the content of this letter no informe busuapeni and all the people that are involved. And it was after this letter Anna letter lawyers said about this letter and because of
me past submission legal ones the jama but they are look from the psychological point of view any other behavior any idea. Now, first of all, that Lumba is a very smart man. In fact, comment section for more deal. As a business person, one of the people that I live with is the Muslims. So and they can say Muslim law firm. That tells me a lot about characteristic, trait person. Because of Islamic laws, we don't have much Muslim legal firms because they don't train lies. A very defended lie in court. Since I room for almost yellow because almost me defending trouble with all that strength and they win the case. Had a Muslim say or defend him say and I say say and nearly right and I say logically internet for that I really I'm very impressed facts somebody is we Emma Muslim all because if girlfriend representing him was an Ashanti law was going to be some kind of propaganda around later. If this woman has entity in this picture, these people have to paint them black. On camera, lawyer Fati, normal Fati. Let me go to the genesis of this matter. Like in case said, and I've said it here before, this shift. letter that Mami Akusha Sewa brought in 2018. The better state deal say be a quite better. So the best ho so be like mumu shoki bina abespa you said you just said or try no, but I didn't really. She was for when she mentioned distribution of assets, she was hoping say and I say everybody be or something. I said because he had done. So he said whatever to see to things when it comes to the legal the divorce, so the solution sack or where we. So you should have pursued the court one. Why didn't she pursue? You should have pursued the sharing of properties. Why didn't she pursue? Obviously, a condition on. A council went on at the back behind the thing and I said, Mommy, now but no cry as a watch. Now let me tell you something. Allegedly, always probably and I said there is a way that has been getting deal progression in life, maybe through the show, however. So she knew the man was doing well. She knew he was not doing bad. She knew he had gained more than he gained when he was with her. And then you see some narrative that they created about him in the past. No? The picture they were looking for to see a few years later. So now, no, let me come and take possession of this thing. How do I come in now?
It's 1964.
Okay, so then it's just 1 year apart.
Yeah, from that one.
Whatever it is. Mami Akusha Sewa met deal when he was 19 years. So which means says a purported way crampwa. Then it means say Mami Akusha Sewa was 20 years. Guess what? At 20, she was in her second marriage. Because when she met DL, she was with Shindela.
And with a child, the child was
and
about 5 years.
And with another child in Ghana. And
Yes.
So she had 2 children at 20.
One child in Ghana.
Yes, 1 child in Ghana.
Yes.
Okay, so she had just 1 child in Ghana.
Exactly.
Okay, so at 20, she had 1 child.
And the child was about 5 years.
About 5 years. In Ghana, and she was also married to a white man.
Yes.
Which means that she had that child at 15. At 15, at the time, she probably traveled shortly after that to Germany.
Yes.
And then she went to marry a man who was older than her.
Yes.
Is this the woman that you people want to compare to Odo Bronii? Is this the woman moral standard? Is this somebody that you people we feel say she's so responsible and I say she's so God fearing and she's all as young as Dia was 10 in a 20-year-old woman's life by marriage. Man, they are having problem hearing me. Are you doing same? What muting?
For me, I hear you clearly. For me, there's nothing going on here.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay, so she was Dio was the third man in the life. I think it's a general network problem. Dio was the third man in the life of a woman who was 20 years, had a 5-year-old child, was still married to a white man. Let's assume a but a brand here where we secondary school Ghana at 19. It is a shortly you move secondary school according to and at a Teresa Bebrese Pamunia de Omobuano, and then he went to Germany to go and then nurture his gifts, and I said like find his way in life. A man at psychologically far away. And even if he is not with somebody in that bracket, 20-year-old big deal with a 5-year-old child also married to. So in fact, her life was complicated. And this man came in. And also, according to him, what you can do, baby, man must survive. And if I meet a baby, or why not? We also heard rumors. We said there were some. I don't know if it's okay to talk about it. Andrew Bronii, who did be where she was involved. Cartel be any idea?
Don't talk about it. We don't have.
Yes, we don't have. Yes, it was a rumor, but you see, as we don't have proof or no, we are here at trying to say we will guide what we have no proof for and stay away from. It's the same way people don't have proof and they are just putting some narratives out there. People didn't have to say Odo Bronii was a maid, but they called her a maid. People have painted her like a Kolabi or free poor home be at say, Nema Mimokra de Mube Dini Baby Mutiba to cry a day. Yama Memo in the age bracket of Odo Bronii, how many of them work as a government, a public servants, as a government personnel? How many of them? Sir Obi Papaya military man, Nani Mamenso is in a kind of saying a security service. They want to paint the girl as if she was picked out of nowhere and just taken to DLF. Because of this woman. Because of this team, whose legal team wrote these, and I said these documents to be saved. And so the cartel, the mafia life that she found herself in from 15 or before 15 no. Obabia was shown no. We are very independent in term mentally, psychologically. You become very independent in term. Lumba was a typical lover boy. That's in Tinebiana. She had a rough kakra with the Tibia. Lumba was a Mr. Lover na Ushiana na you want him for keeps. But he was too young to stay in such a relationship for it. In fact, Lumba is too responsible. Or you're too responsible. Such as say he stayed through with that woman at that time. By 25, 26, 30 years, no, na bema afia sana the man in him no is now showing up. You want to be in charge. You want to have the authority. You want to be with a submissive woman and all that. Into whatever way or banner will pick in early now, he's no more looking at that. Now, when your band was a 19-year-old, 20 years